Welcome to Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by Audi. Here's your host, Eric Allen.
The Jets return to action this Sunday. Eric Allen here inside the studio with Nick Mangold and Bart Scott. Nick, the Jets need a momentum shift. The Falcons are in town. They're 5-6, but in a strange twist, they're tied for first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game because the Falcons, they actually are pretty good, even though their win-loss record doesn't really reflect it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tough game. It is Legends Day, so maybe that momentum comes from, see some of the old-timers there.
How about that? He's talking about you, I think, when he's saying
old-timers. But I'm one of the old-timers that works actually on Sunday. So, maybe I'll be able to, partake in the festivities on Saturday. But, it's important for them to understand. I think, having some of the guys around that have been successful, we can always be a lending ear to kind of some of the things, because we've been there.
What do you guys make of the challenge that Robert Saleh gave to his players this week when they returned to the building? He said, make these final 6 games the best 6 games of your career.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing for all the guys, especially with, this late in the season, as you're going through the trials and tribulations of a season. Like, what you put on tape is for you. The Jets are on the front of the jersey, but your name's on the back. So you need to be playing up to the level that your name represents.
All right, let's go inside the numbers right now. We're always presented by the New York Lottery. Our first number is 2, and that goes to Brandon Echols. The Jets' last 2 pick sixes, Bart Scott, have come from Brandon Echols, and both have come against Tua.
Yeah, you think about Brandon Echols, he's playing well. He's been called into duty a little earlier this season. You talk about last week, a tremendous break on the ball, understanding route combinations and believing his eyes and making a play. And it was a pivotal point that, made the game a lot tighter going into halftime. It was an opportunity.
Nick, our second number is 21. Earlier this week, Aaron Rodgers returned to practice on a limited basis, opening that 21-day window where the Jets will have to either put him on the active roster or shut him down for the rest of the season.
First off, wow. It's amazing. But I think, we talk about momentum shift too. And this is something that I think could help the team. Getting your star quarterback back out there, getting the younger guys to see him working hard to get back, knowing that he's working for something, could be that momentum that, lifts the whole team.
No doubt about that. Okay, our third number is 100. That goes to Ashton Davis because he's one of only a few players in the National Football League who's got 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. They've all come within 100 defensive snaps. The rest of these guys in this category have not played any fewer than 367 snaps.
He not only contributes on the defensive side of the ball, but he contributes special teams, of course. They found ways to have a package that has him in there. And he's making the best use of his time. And, when you get out there and you chart him and continue and see how many plays that he's making, per percentage of plays he's getting, is kind of phenomenal. It warrants more playing time.
Did you guys have any coffee or tea today?
Not yet.
No, a little bit of coffee.
Okay, let's find out what's brewing. Here's Caroline Hendershot and Ethan Greenberg.
It's time for What's Brewing, presented by Dunkin'. The Jets run on Dunkin'.
Ethan, Jets are back at home this Sunday for week 13. I can't believe it's week 13, but here we are, we're rolling.
You know who else is rolling, maybe a little under the radar? It's Tyler Conklin.
Okay.
78% reception rate, leads the Jets, 7th best among tight ends. Not only that, he's caught 15 consecutive targets between weeks 9 and 11. That's a career record for him. Good job for Tyler Conklin, but more impressive, Caroline, that is the 3rd longest streak of any tight end in the NFL this season.
Okay, so Conklin setting career highs, but you know who's starting their career on a really good foot? Joe Tippmann. Last week against Miami, he allowed 0 pressures, and he has a 98.4 pass blocking efficiency grade per PFF. That ranks first amongst all rookies. And in the last 3 games, Joe Tippmann has only allowed 1 pressure on 135 pass blocking
Yeah,
snaps.
he's been balling, no doubt about it. You know who else has been balling?
Who?
Well, think about it in terms of the Pro Bowl, because last year the Jets had 4 ballers represent the team in Las Vegas. Pro Bowl voting officially open. There are a lot of players who deserve to represent the green and white.
And it's up to you guys on who makes it. So vote, vote, vote. Last year we had 4. I think at least 5 deserve to make it this year.
I think so. This is cheers to the future Pro Bowlers.
Truth.
Coming up, Eric Allen will sit down with Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information. Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets.
What's it been like having Aaron Rodgers back in the building?
Oh, it's been great. You know, his veteran presence, leadership, his thoughts, the pranks he plays on everybody. It's great to have him back.
How about his football knowledge? How much does he impress you with the way he consumes ball and the way he talks ball?
Not gonna lie to you, I'd be disappointed if it wasn't what it is. He's played quarterback for so long. Let's face it, we're almost the same age. Obviously, he's much more athletic, but he's got an incredible amount of knowledge.
I know he hasn't been out there on the field since those 4 snaps against the Buffalo Bills, but what's he been like as a teammate here? The way he's come back, and now he's going to be back with you guys until the end of the season.
I think the way he's fighting to get back, and I get, there's narrative and people push an agenda on how they want to portray what he's been doing. I think it's special. I think it shows how much he wants to be a Jet. I think it shows how important it is to get back here. I think it shows how much he cares about the sport of football. I think it shows how much he cares about his teammates, his coaches, the organization, the city, all of it. Is there a little bit of I want to prove the world wrong? Of course there is, but that's what makes him special. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. And I think everyone, especially the young guys, can learn a lot from him.
What was your message to the guys when they got back in the facility on Monday?
Obviously, when things aren't going the way you want, you can get frustrated. You can start pressing to make things happen. And the reality is the focus needs to just be doing what you do best. Having an identity, controlling what you've got control over, and just being dominant every time you have a chance to be on the field. While the intent is right, there's a lot of guys pressing and losing the identity that makes them special. But the focal point is on us, challenging ourselves, challenging each other, challenging everyone in the organization to find a way to get better and to reconnect to the identity that makes us all special.
What do you want to see from Tim Boyle in start number 2?
I want him to take the things that he did well in the game, last game against Miami, and build on those. Obviously learn on the mistakes and find ways to eliminate those. But, he did do a lot of good things, and to build on that and just find a way to get better and distribute the ball when it needs to be distributed.
8 O-line starting combinations in 11 games. How difficult is that for any team? Because everybody talks about up front the importance of continuity.
It's like the silent plague, when the O-line gets hurt, because it's not part of fantasy football, nobody really notices. I've been very vocal that everything starts and ends up front, both offensively and defensively, and if those guys are humming, you're going to be pretty good. If they're not, it doesn't matter who you have around them. You can have a Hall of Fame back end, but if that D-line's not humming, it doesn't matter. You can have Hall of Fame skill guys in quarterback, but if big boys up front aren't doing their job, or if there's no continuity and there's guys popping in and out of the lineup, you're going to be in trouble. To just get a chance to get those guys to play together for multiple weeks at a time would be freaking awesome, because I do think that they would get better and prove to be a really good O-line. What's
impressed you most about rookie offensive lineman Joe Tippmann, who started the year for you guys at right guard? Now he's taken over the center duties.
He's been great. He's gotten better every day. Usually those college kids, they get in here and they're fish out of water, right? And then training camp comes in, and it's the first time that they touch a NFL lineman, if you will, and it's like, holy cow. Every single guy is stronger than the next guy. Everybody is the best player they've ever played in their life, and so there's an adjustment. He got his opportunity to start at guard after the second week, I believe, and he got better and better, suffered the injury, bounced back, jumped into a new spot. He's been getting better and better, and I think he's going to be a really darn good football player for a very long time for us. He's an exciting young man.
Do you like these matchups? It's a December game. You guys are a Northeastern team, and you're taking on Atlanta, who's obviously comfortable playing inside.
Yeah. Atlanta plays a style of football that travels. It's run game and defense. They will travel from venue to venue and from city to city and from climate to climate. It's going to be a battle.
But you got an advanced scouting report on the quarterback, Desmond Ridder, from your days down there in Mobile where you guys were coaching in the Senior Bowl.
For sure. I love Desmond. Coming out of the Senior Bowl, I was like, this dude's got kind of like that it factor. He's got a tremendous mindset, tremendous confidence. Quick story on him. I think we were somewhere in the middle of the fourth quarter. I think we were down a score, if I remember right. Walked up to him and said, "You ready for this big drive?" And he said, "We're going to score." And we went right down, we scored. He walked off the field and he said, "Told you." I was like, this dude, the whole week was just fantastic, and just working with him and just was really excited to see where he would end up. And when he ended up in Atlanta, I was quick to text Arthur and said, "He's going to be your favorite player, buddy."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's awesome.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
This exclusive interview with Robert Saleh was presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
Coming up, Bart Scott and Nick Mangold will break down the key matchups for this weekend.
It's a great opportunity to show who we are, what kind of team we are. Yeah, like the season isn't going at all how any of us imagined. We're faced with a great opportunity to be able to overcome this adversity, and I think we have the people and the fight and the talent to do so.
Blessed to be able to play this game.
Appreciate this opportunity. When you step on that field,
It's a blessing to be able to play on Sunday.
no hell, no down in your heart.
It's a blessing to be able to be part of history.
Work hard for this, and we gonna make every single play when we execute. And let's get to work, man.
Touchdown! Aaron Wilson! Right up the middle. House call! Right in the arms of Quentin Williams.
This film breakdown is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. Learn more at kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires.
All right, let's get into some telestration right now with Nick Mangold and Bart Scott. We're going to start with you, Nick, since you played center in the National Football League at such a high level. How about Joe Tippmann? 8 starts so far here early in his career. He's played 458 offensive snaps. He's at the pivot right now.
Yeah, he's doing well, and I think what we're going to see here, we're going to highlight Joe Tippmann on this run play, because this is what Bart's been clamoring for, right? He wants the duo play, double teams. So what do we have here? We have 2 double teams starting on the inside and front side. And as their vision is going to the backside linebacker and to the front side linebacker, right? So they're taking their double teams back to those guys. Tippmann's got his eyes on the linebacker. Linebacker fires his gun backside. Sees that he feels like he's got an opening as Breece Hall's getting this handoff. Tippmann sees that and gets off on his block, closes the hole, unfortunately. So Breece has to bounce it, but this is the joy of the double team, the duo play. There's holes everywhere. Breece finds that hole, puts his foot in the dirt, gets vertical, gets the 4 yards, 4 yards successful run play. Here, we'll move to the pass,
All right.
right? So again, we're looking at my man, Joe Tippmann. And as we're coming out here, so this is a big key for centers. He's keeping his backside arm free and up. This allows him to use it kind of as a sensor. If a defensive tackle comes his way, he can pick it up. Now, the guy comes off the guard and comes into Tippmann. Tippmann here uses his leverage, drops his hips, and drives him out, and creates, as we go back to see the pass, it creates the pocket that leaves it open to allows for a successful pass play. I think using his hips, using his technique, that's pretty great to see out of a rookie offensive lineman.
All right, let's transition to Bijan Robinson, electrifying rookie from Texas. I'm going to be keen on the Jets linebackers today, C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams, because they're going to be asked not only to stop him in the run game, but in the pass game.
Absolutely, and Bijan Robinson is a dynamic player. And you think last week against the Saints, similar type of linebacker. We all remember, Demario Davis and what he is and how good he's played since he's left the Jets. So what they're going to try and do is isolate him and get him in space. They have a condensed formation. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and clear all this space out here so they can have a lot of space for Bijan Robinson to operate. So as the play continues to start, you see as the play goes, they go motion. That's the indicator there that they have man-to-man. And then now this is what we're talking about. We have this drive right here to eat up, potentially this player, but also, to draw the eyes of this safety. So now that creates so much space to be able to have him one-on-one with Demario Davis with a semblance of a pick play and see if he can make a play. This is basically, all this is an inside fade. This is an inside fade from your running back that's offset on the opposite side, and he's coming through and running pretty much not a wheel route, but a fade route that an inside slot player would do. But his ball skills are so good that, he's able to make those type of plays.
Two players to watch in Sunday's game, Joe Tippmann, Bijan Robinson.
Don't go anywhere. Bart and Nick will put their coaching hats on and deliver the winning game plans.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife, the official insurance company of the New York Jets. This segment is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
At the Jet 34, and he's back to throw. Under pressure, hit, and he'll be sacked. The pocket collapses. Jermaine Johnson.
Welcome back to Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. Week 13 of the Fantasy Corner. Ethan, Jets, Falcons, who do we have our eye on today?
I think we have our eye on our first rookie of the segment, and let's go with Falcons running back Bijan Robinson. The 8th overall pick, ranks 8th in the NFL in rushing yards, and he leads a Falcons rushing offense that ranks 4th in the NFL. Statistically speaking, this Jets defense is great. The one weakness is the rush defense, and Bijan Robinson has a rushing touchdown in 3 out of his last 4 games. If you're Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh, you're probably focused on stopping him, but he could be a good play as well.
Okay, so I know you just mentioned that one weak spot of the Jets defense, but I'm picking the Jets defense because they have been on one yet again. They just held Tua Tagovailoa last week to 77.5 passer rating, which is his lowest in a game this season. And they had 2 interceptions, one being a Brandon Echols pick 6, so that's bonus fantasy points for you guys if you pick them. And they're facing Desmond Ridder. He has thrown 8 interceptions this year, which is just one more than the amount of touchdowns he's thrown.
And he's only thrown for 1 touchdown on the road this season.
Yep, so things to keep in mind as you set your lineups. We will see you at 1 p.m. for kickoff.
Today's game plan is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
All right, let's get into our game plans right now with Nick Mangold and Bart Scott. A great job by you with your film breakdown on Joe Tippmann, but offensive line continuity continues to be a problem for the Jets. 8 different starting line combinations in 11 games to date. What's the plan for this offense to get going against the Falcons?
Yeah, so the Falcons' defense is ranked 14th overall, and that's going to be a challenge for this offense. And the offensive line, that is the foundation that runs the whole operation. So they need to be solid up front, and what they're going to need to do is fall back on what they did in the spring and what they did in August. The repetitions that they did in the offseason is going to be how they get the victory this week.
Not a lot of big names on that Atlanta defense, but
Calais
Campbell,
Grady Jarrett, Bates,
Jesse Bates has got 4 interceptions.
Hit his head on the goalpost last week, man, and he's one of the most outstanding safeties in the league. And so they have playmakers, so don't sleep on that. And just because they may not have the household names that you're used to and accustomed to, the Jets are going to have a healthy respect for these guys because they have veteran leadership and they know how to win in November and December.
I'm not sleeping on them. They have given up yards, and there are opportunities. The Saints had more than 400 total yards. They just did not finish last week. So let's get to your side of the ball.
Yes, let's do it.
The Jets defense has to line up against an Atlanta offense. Ritter, a little bit inconsistent early in his career, but Bijan Robinson's really starting to find his rhythm.
Well, Bijan Robinson, Cordarrelle Patterson, right? You talk about they ran him the ball for over 200 yards. And I think last week and the last couple of weeks, we're finally starting to see the impact of the absence of Al Woods as they don't have that big anchor in there. Teams are starting to try and gut the Jets up the middle, in between the tackles. So I think, they're going to have to bow up and guys are going to have to sit down on those double teams because, Arthur Smith is a guy that, believes in running the football. He's committed to it.
Tim Boyle taking a rock for start 2. What do you guys want to see from him?
Consistency. I think that's a big one, making the plays that it needs to do and not taking the crazy chances, but also at the same time, you can air it out a little bit.
Airing it out? What do you think?
Well, listen, I need him to use his football acumen, right? Because, when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons, they don't really have one of those war daddies, and so they may try and heat him up with, blitzing. So he's going to have to be smart with his routes and his understanding, getting to the line of scrimmage, smoking them out early, trying to get the answers to the test. And when he has opportunities to take a shot over the top, because I think they're going to crowd the line out of a lack of respect for this offensive line, then he's going to have to make them pay.
Jets, Falcons, who's going to fly higher this weekend? We're about to find out.